So you're here today to share some of your knowledge about drones. Can you tell us a bit about your history with drones?
Yeah, so I have been building and flying drones for about 8 years now. I started out custom building them out of small scraps of wood that I had laying around in my garage and just some electronics from some old leftover airplanes, and that kind of segued into building some higher tech ones that were really fast, aerobatic, some that were actually autonomous, all the way up to flying some really high quality cinematic drones for commercial use. So this piece of footage that I've got here is of the new Easton Bridge from a couple of years ago. A good friend of mine was one of the lead engineers on the project, and one of the people that did a lot of the aluminum work is a good friend of mine as well. So I shot some footage of this drone for him right after the bridge was completed, and he's now using it as part of his construction and engineering portfolio out in Houston, Texas. When we go to Florida, I love shooting photos and videos over marinas. I love taking a lot of straight down photos from really high elevations. This one photo is of a place down in the Florida Panhandle called Camp St. Helens, and it's an area where freshwater and seawater come together, and so you get a really cool view of kind of the tanniny, brackish water.
So there are several good books about drones in the library. If a student is looking for to learn more about drones, are there any books that you would recommend?
Yeah, so there's a couple of books right here. These are both are put out by Make Magazine, which is an interesting company because it actually has a Louisville connection. Dale Doherty, who is the CEO of Maker Media, is actually from Louisville. And he's a super cool guy, but he and his company have put out these books right here, and these are great kind of introductory books. They go over all of the systems of drones. They talk about some of the DIY aspects of building your own, how they fly, how to program the actual flight controllers for them. So yeah, these are really cool books. There's another couple here as well that go over some of the same types of stuff. This one right here is really cool because it's all about hacking drones. So when you're custom building your drones here, you can actually build them and fly them with old Wii controllers, which is pretty cool. And this, again, just kind of goes into, both of these go into the building and kind of basic flight of the drones. There's another really cool one that's a little bit more up my alley that I like from the academic standpoint. This one's called Drones and the Ethics of Targeted Killing. It's not necessarily just about targeted killing, like what the military does, but it gets into kind of some of the ethical and policy standpoints of drones. So it talks a little bit about why we can't fly within a certain couple of miles of an airport, or 5 to 10 miles of a larger international airport. But this one's just really cool from a policy standpoint, and I really like this one. So if you guys are interested in law or possibly some kind of political field in the future, this one's really cool for you.
So here are a few of your drones. You want to share a little bit about them?
Yeah, sure. So this is probably one that a lot of people are the most familiar with. This is a DJI Phantom. This is kind of your standard run-of-the-mill, if you're going to go out and get a drone, kind of drone you're going to buy. This one right here is a lot more of a workhorse, and it's kind of a mess because this one is a custom-built drone. So in the Maker books that we were looking at just a few minutes ago, this is kind of a very, very scaled up version of some of the stuff that you would see in there.
So this is your first year trending, so some of our students may not be familiar with you. Are there any courses that you would like to plug at this time?
Yeah, sure. So we'll get into a little bit of the drone components in my aerospace class. It's a full year class that gets into a lot of different topics about aviation and space and rocketry and different types of propulsions. So it's a really cool class. And then I'm also teaching an engineering and design class. So that's a class where we basically go over the fundamentals of engineering. It's very hands-on, lots of building, lots of making. We've got a couple of 3D printers and a laser cutter here in the background that the guys use on a pretty regular basis for different types of projects. So yeah, those two classes are really great.
All right, thank you very much.
No problem.